Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Human Rights Day celebration. Today, we honor International Human Rights Day, and it's the 72nd anniversary of the signing of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and we're here to celebrate on behalf of the county. My name is Justin Boren. I am the Vice Chairperson of the Santa Clara County Human Rights Commission, and we have with us today some of our commissioners, and I'll introduce them in just a second. We also have Supervisor Otto Lee, who is the newly elected supervisor for the Board of Supervisors of Santa Clara County. We're very honored to have you here with us today, Supervisor Lee.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bourne.
Our chairperson of the commission, Reverend Brian Franzen, will be starting us off in just a second. I also wanted to introduce Dyla Ray, who's one of our commissioners. We have Sean Saigal, Mita Day, and Robert Chaikin. We also have two county support staff members here with us today. Very important to have our support staff, and we really appreciate all the work they do, Katia Robles and Tevu. So thank you both for being here. I'll turn it over to Brian now.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Bourne. You know, Eleanor Roosevelt said, "We, after all, do universal human rights begin in small places close to home, so close and so small that they cannot be seen on any map of the world. Unless these rights have meaning there, they have little meaning anywhere. Without concerted citizen action to uphold them close to home, we shall look in vain for progress in the larger world." Here in Santa Clara County, we are a county that is officially a human rights county, a county that takes human rights so seriously that we put staff behind it, as well as one of the largest commissions in the county. With our partnership with the Department of Equity and Social Justice, we as a commission are dedicated to looking out for what human rights needs there are in our county, to name them, to explore them, and to help the community to be able to speak up about them. Human rights is central to who we are as people. When we don't see our neighbor as fully human, we often end up doing some of the most inhumane things. Seeing the dignity and worth of every individual is at the heart of who we are and who we should be as a community. And like Eleanor Roosevelt said, if we don't do it here, it's not going to spread beyond this point. Human rights is who we are. And if we truly are part of this world and part of this community, that needs to be our goal. This year, nationally, the theme for human rights is Recover Better, Stand Up for Human Rights. As we see with COVID-19 and the way that it has impacted our world last year, we have to recognize the need for human rights and ask those hard questions that need to be asked. Why did this disease overwhelmingly hit communities that are often marginalized? Why did it hit harder areas that are more economically depressed? While in our hearts we know the answers, we need to highlight that and see the systemic problems that have created that situation, and look to make a more equitable world as we go forward. On this Human Rights Day, this day that we celebrate the signing of the Declaration on Human Rights, we recognize how important this is for a healthy and whole community, and ultimately a healthy and whole world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. We now have a short message from the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, who is going to deliver a message to mark Human Rights Day today on December 10th. Give me just 1 second to share the video.
This year's Human Rights Day falls at a time we'll never forget. COVID-19 has taken us by storm and shaken our world. A tragedy followed by an extraordinary opportunity to recover better. This Human Rights Day is a call to action. A call for all of us to seize this opportunity and build the world we want. For that, we must accept the lessons from this crisis. First one, end discrimination of any kind, like pre-existing conditions that make individuals more fragile. Gaps in respecting human rights have made all of society more vulnerable. If anyone is at risk, everyone is at risk. Discrimination, exclusion, and other human rights violation harms us all. The second is reduced widespread inequalities. Universal social protection, universal health coverage, and other systems for the delivery of fundamental rights are not luxuries. They keep society standing and can shape a more equitable future. Third, encourage participation, especially from young people. All voices have a right to be heard. Fourth, increase and intensify our resolve and efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, a concrete agenda for universal human rights. These are not just the right things to do, they are the smart things to do. And there's only one way they can be done, by standing up for human rights. Because human rights yield fair and resilient societies. They are the answer to this human crisis. Like the climate emergency, COVID-19 reminds us that we are bound together as one humanity. We must act. Working together, we can recover better. With strong solidarity, we can build a world that is more resilient, sustainable, and just. Join me in standing up for human rights.
So how about we turn it over to Supervisor Otto Lee, who's going to deliver some important remarks today. So let me spotlight.
Well, first of all, good morning. Thank you very much for everybody today for joining us in this celebration of the Human Rights Day. As you know, as everybody here knows, today marks the 72nd anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a very, very fundamental document in a milestone in the history of human rights. This actually was drafted by representatives of different legal and cultural backgrounds from all regions of the world back in 1948, December 10th, this day. And this is a common standard of achievement of all peoples and all nations. It sets up for the very first time the fundamental human rights to be universally protected, and it's actually been translated to over 500 languages. And for anybody who have not read it recently, I'm sure everybody has read it sometime, please take a look at it. You could Google it, obviously, Universal Declaration of Human Rights on the UN.org. It's a very short read, only 30 articles, but it's amazing to review and always remember how much of those rights are still not respected by many nations and by so many people not able to enjoy all those rights. I would like to especially recognize Dr. Brian James Franzen, pastor of the Westminster Presbyterian Church in San Jose, and Dr. Justin Boren, the Vice Chairperson and Human Rights Relations Commission, for allowing me to co-host today's special event. For many of you that know, Justin, of course, was instrumental in leading the county to declare Santa Clara County as a human rights county back on December 8th this month. Human rights are the fundamental rights which each person is inherently entitled to, and became also part of the Constitution of the United States, just like we have in the Bill of Rights. They are the foundation upon which all our laws are based on. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights represent the first global expression of rights that all human beings are inherently entitled to. It's the fundamental basis of what is just and what is equitable society should look like in the modern world. In Santa Clara County, We take great pride in practicing the integration of human rights when it comes to our mission, our services, and the outcomes. We are a government that has proudly promoted transparency, inclusion, equity, accountability, and non-discrimination as the core values of our county. And today we celebrate a milestone in our county's commitment to uphold the inherent dignity and worth of every human being and every individual, and to honor the legacy of this historic document whose ideals have and will continue to endure for generations to come. I hope our celebration today reminds us of our roots as one human family, forever dedicated to upholding the central tenets of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And let's all give a big round of applause for Justin, the members of the Human Rights Commission, for cementing Santa Clara County's legacy as a human rights county. Thank you. And now, therefore, be resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Santa Clara does hereby proclaim December 10th, 2020 as a Human Rights Day and explicitly embraces human dignity for all in Santa Clara County. And I have a proclamation, but since we're doing everything by Zoom electronically, I'm going to hold this up as a copy of it. It will be displayed proudly. Let me see if I can put this on the share screen so you can actually see it. Now I run into technical difficulties. In any case, so this document has been prepared as at the county, and we'll make sure that get this submitted and presented to the Human Rights Commission. Thank you very, very much. And back to you, Dr. Bourne.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Lee. Really appreciate your kind words and, of course, your recognition of today as being Human Rights Day. I think it's important for all of us in the county to celebrate this important day. So I really appreciate that. And I'll turn it back over to Brian.
So again, thank you all for coming today. And I think we really have a lot of work before us. But thank you, Supervisor Lee, for really making this one of your first acts as a supervisor to join us, and I think it becomes a good fundamental thing to say how are we honoring and respecting each other. I'd like to thank you all for coming again, especially you, Supervisor Lee, and Katie from the Department of Equity and Social Justice as we move forward in our work together. Thank you all and have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, Brian. And yes, I did find the proclamation. If you could see it, I'm not sure if it could display well at all. Not really. Technical difficulties. But in any case, it's already been prepared, signed by all supervisors, unanimously declaring that human rights states and being explicitly embraces human dignity for all in Santa Clara County today. So again, thank you very much for all of you for coming, and have a blessed day, and working hard for fighting human rights every day in our life. Thank you.
Thank you.